Yes, sir. Welcome to Under the Hood Sports. I'm your host with the most, Johnny Hill. Hey, man, if you don't know me, you really should know me. Hey, man, and if y'all don't know, this is Women History Month, and I got some women right now who've been making history in sports and really have been doing their thing in sports. And I really appreciate them for taking the time out of their busy schedule, really just to take the time to talk to me, talk about their journey, and also just talk about where they plan on going or if they have any inspiration for anybody else, man. I really just appreciate y'all for coming on. First of all, how y'all doing right now?
Good.
Good.
That's good. That's good. Right now, if y'all don't know, I got Victoria with me, I got Lex, and I got Rachel right here. And I just appreciate them, like I said earlier. And we just gonna go deep into it right quick and let's just dive deep. Um, First of all, how y'all are doing good, but what made y'all, I'm curious, what made y'all want to go into the landscape of sports? What made y'all want to do that? Because y'all could have done anything else, but why sports? Why y'all want to get into sports?
You start.
Anyone can start. Anyone can start. Oh, this open discussion.
I guess I'll start. I started in sports because I've always been around sports. I played sports. So when I tore my ACL, it was me either making a decision of either going into pediatrics or going into the sports field. So I said, let me do something that's right in the middle, that's sports and health care professional. So I decided to do athletic training since I also did that in high school. So it was always a passion of mine being around it. And I was like, okay, I can see myself doing this for a very long time. So that's why I did it.
Sure, for sure. Victoria, you want to go next?
Yeah, so I have a very similar story. I dislocated my patella or your kneecap four times playing sports. So grew up playing multiple sports year round, and obviously comes with injuries. So I actually got involved with more of the PT side of things first. But the thing that interested me in athletic training was the fact that we're able to see literally the initial injury all the way to that player coming back for their very first game back after injury. So for me, I knew I wanted a career that sort of like, yes, I get to do rehab. Yes, I get to apply, sports medicine and healthcare, like Rachel mentioned. But I also wanted to be there for all their moments from literally day one of me, unfortunately, having to break the news to them to being able to be there when they make their first big play after injury.
Sure. Unless you want to end it off.
So mine is similar to Victoria and Rachel. So I tore my Achilles in college and I had to go through the whole PT thing. I wanted somebody that was like, I only saw my PT a couple of times a week. And so like Victoria said, you're kind of there all the time. So for me, growing up around sports, I love sports and I just wanted to be someone that's going to be consistent. They're all us as athletic trainers were relevant, like she said, from the start to the finish. So for me, I know how my experience was, and I kind of wanted to give that same enthusiasm to a profession in athletic training, gave me that avenue to be able to cheer somebody on, but also do my job and have those little pivotal moments with the athlete and also in my career to be like, oh, okay, like I made a difference in this person. So similar to them.
Oh yeah, and that's truly is amazing. And I honestly feel like y'all really don't get enough credit for the things that y'all do because a lot of times y'all really are in the field with the athletes, like, and y'all do see a lot of the low days and low moments the athletes do have. Because coming back from certain injuries, it really can be tough on the athlete mentally, and y'all have to be for them mentally and all of the above. So I do really want to give y'all flowers about that. But let's transition, right? Y'all all had the opportunity of going to the NFL and working on that level. So what really, how was that experience? How was that like, having the opportunity to get on that stage? Do y'all wanna, it's just an open forum. Anyone wanna start it off?
I'll go. So for me, the first time I had the opportunity to do a summer internship was with the Rams, right after they won the Super Bowl. And for me, I think the first time it was like, oh shoot, like this is like, I'm really here. Like, I don't think you fully like it sets in until you actually get there. And it's also like, wow, like it's competitive. They have so many applicants that end up applying. So for me, it was like, okay, like I'm here, like I can get here. Like let's see how I can keep this going. Let's see if I can get back. So for me, the experience, like I feel like that first time is like you're kind of starstruck, like, and I won't say starstruck like because the athletes, but just like you can't really get any higher than collegiate athletics or the NFL, like that's professional. So for me, it was like it gave me a boost, like, all right, I got here one time. Let's see if I can get here again. So for me, it was like a pat on the back, but I also use it as motivation, like, okay, how far can I go? Like I can get here. What it showed me like I have what it takes, but also like I still have so much more to do to get on the level with all these other athletic trainers and these physical therapists that are employed by these 32 teams. So I feel like it's a good motivating factor, but when you sit back and look at it, like not everybody gets that experience. So it's kind of like a pat on the back too. Like, okay, I can hang here. Like, let's see where this goes. So for me, it was a big, like, oh shoot moment, but it's also like,
Yeah,
okay, we got some work to do. Like let's show the world what we can do. So that's kind of how I took it.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
I definitely agree with Lex because once you get on that level, it's like, okay, I made it here. Now what do I have to do to stay here or be in this element or learning from the great athletic trainers that have been there for years upon years. As athletic trainers, we don't know everything. So being in that environment, you get to learn from the greats because at one point in life, we are going to be in those positions. So getting to the NFL, it was a great experience. I started at the Chiefs the year that they won the Super Bowl. So leaving right before they won the Super Bowl, I was like, damn, if I was a seasonal, I would have got that ring
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah,
So it was just like, okay, it was a great experience. I learned a lot. It showed me what I would want to do going back into the league and what I would not want to do being an athletic trainer in the league. So you learn a lot, you benefit from it. So it was a great experience for me. And it just lets me know, like Lex says, what do I need to do to get back there long term?
that's real. That's real. Victoria?
Yeah, and for me, once again, sort of piggyback back off of the two of them, but like the first time you walk into the facility, you're sort of just looking around like, wow, like I'm here. Like we think or you thought like while you're going through your program, going through your training, you're like, one day I'm gonna get there. But then when you're there, you're like, oh my God, you just had to sit back and sort of take it in and relish it. I would even say it was the same way my very first game. Like I was like, I'm literally driving to MetLife Stadium for my very first NFL game, so, and hopefully, like they mentioned, like one of many in the future, speaking that into existence for all of us. But I would say the most motivating factor for me has always been the fact that even though it has been growing exponentially here in the past few years, I remember when I was applying for seasonals that less than 10% of the athletic trainers on the 32 teams were females. But yet our profession is made up of over 54% of females. So for me, it was a wake up call and sort of like Rachel mentioned, sort of like a light bulb went off of, hey, I got the chance. What do I need to do now to stay here? Because we need representation as well, especially being Black women when we only make up 2% of the profession. But
Sure.
yet when you look at NFL teams, you're looking at 60, 70% that look like us. So it's almost one of those, okay, I had the opportunity, but now you're driven and motivated just to get back to make an impact basically on these young men lives.
For sure, for sure. And y'all really have made some impact. Let's transition, right? Let's transition. I love reflecting because I feel like if you know what I'm saying, you gotta remember like the old times to get to the new and also like what could I have done different, to move forward. If y'all could have a moment to talk to your younger self, what will you tell them about going into athletic training in the sports field? Victoria, you want to open us up?
Yeah, I'll open it up. So I actually just had this conversation with my mentor here at Mizzou. Um, the biggest thing I would tell my younger self is no matter what, always be you. There's a reason that I am successful with my patients. There's a reason I'm successful in my career. There's a reason, I am where I am. It's because I'm me. There's no, there's no other Victoria Simpsons out there like me. So, I think the biggest thing is realizing that imposter syndrome is real. Sometimes you want to fit in and, be one of the guys, or you feel like you have to act a certain way. But I realized that it was stressing me out. I didn't feel great about myself. I didn't feel authentic anymore. And I just wasn't giving my best anymore towards my patients. So for me, when I sat back and reflected on like, okay, am I being true to myself to give my all to my players and patients? Like it was a wake-up call of like, nah, Victoria, we got to get back to you. There's a reason you're here. Do you? So that would probably be the biggest piece of advice I would give my previous, or not previous, but my younger self.
For sure, for sure. Rachel, you want to go next?
The advice I would give to my younger self is be patient. Everything happens in the timing that it needs to happen. So you're gonna be put in whatever place you're gonna be placed in for a reason to meet people. I met these lovely ladies because I was in Memphis last year and because of the Jets. So it was like, if I've never been placed in those positions, I would have never met the people I've met or grown into the person that I've grown into. So it's like, be patient. Just know that everything is going to happen when it needs to happen. And just like Victoria said, imposter syndrome is real. So just being yourself, being true to you, knowing that your athletes value what you do every single day, whether they say it or not. They have their ways of showing it, but just be appreciative that you're in the position that you're in, because not everyone gets the opportunities that we have been given. So just be grateful.
And I agree. Lex, you want to end it off?
Yes. So I think what I would tell my younger self, and I got this from one of my coaches, is always be where your feet are. So like they said, timing is everything. And one thing I've known is God doesn't make mistakes. So if you're somewhere, be where your feet are. Trust that process and take everything you can from that opportunity, whether it's good or bad. You always learn from experiences. So be where your feet are and don't give up. Like, it may seem like, man, I've tried. And it's easy to look at other people's past and be like, man, theirs looks so easy, or they're there already. Like, you just have to be where your feet are and know that whatever God has for you is going to come. Like, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's 10 years from, like, whatever it is, like, it's not going to miss you if it's meant to be. So just be where your feet are and don't ever give up. Like, you can't give in. It's sometimes not going to be easy. Sometimes it's going to be hard, but you just can't give up. If it's truly what you want, you just got to stay down and grind for it. So I think that's what I would tell my younger self.
That's real.
Okay, Lex with
real.
the word.
That's real. That hit
I
me.
think that might have came from one of y'all too. So
Hey, man, that hit me now. That hit me. Okay, let's transition one more time. Let's transition. Let's talk about this. We talked about the athletic training route. So, if you can tell, if people don't know, should I get into it or want to do this? What advice do y'all say, like, if y'all can, like, how it have helped you, being an athletic trainer? What have you learned? What advice you got for the next young lady who wants to do this? Yeah, I can pick, but I prefer like y'all just go,
Really just thinking about brainstorming on that question, really.
For sure. Lex, you want to go?
I will say I can kick it off.
Go,
Hey,
Victoria,
kick it off?
you got it.
Go ahead.
I would definitely say that make sure it's the right decision for you. So one thing that people don't realize with athletic trainers, like this morning I was up at 4:20 a.m.
Sure.
to drop off a patient for surgery, and then worked pro day, did some stuff in the office. So even though we started spring break, quote unquote, yesterday, I was in the office from literally like 4:30 this morning until 4 p.m. this evening in the off season. So, and then in season, you're grinding from, once again, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning until 7, 8, 9 p.m. easily at night. So I would always want to make sure, or I even tell other young clinicians, or even those that are considering this field, or even in programs already, like, make sure this is what you want, because yes, we work grueling hours. It's a thankless job. We're not recognized, all the time. There are some great coaches out there and other support staff that recognize, the greatness that we also bring to keep a team healthy, and keep a winning record. But there's also some that won't applaud you. So you have to learn as well to keep yourself motivated and think about, like, hey, I'm still impacting this team by, doing this, keeping guys healthy, whatever it may be. So I would definitely say that's probably my biggest piece of advice, is just making sure this is what you truly want to do, and reaching out to make sure, from other people's experiences, that this is what you want to do.
Sure. Man, that's good. That's good. Next
I
one.
agree with Victoria. You have to love this job to do this job. If you do not love it, don't do it, because you're going to have your days where you want to say, I don't want to do this anymore, but your love for it is what's going to make you stay in this profession. So if you don't love it, don't do it. And always get hands-on experience before you decide to do something like this, because you need to know what you're getting yourself into. So do internships, go to a high school, go to a clinic, go to the different settings that you may see yourself in, and getting that experience. So you know what you're looking what you're looking at when you're actually in the profession.
Right. Because work-life balance is
Non-existent.
that's a beast for an athletic trainer. It's like, what life?
When you're in the season, yeah, there's no work-life balance. It's work.
Right.
We're the first people in and we're the last people to leave. So
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
I agree with both of them. You have to know this is what you want. Like she said, whether it's internships, whether it's just getting some hands-on experience, you have to really have a passion for this. And I think it's, even though you're taking the experience to see what you like, I think it's also true to also see you have to fit in. Like you could get places and you're like, man, I love it, but this isn't really, I don't know if I really fit here. Like, this isn't really, where I could see myself. So I think some people get misconstrued by the glamorous parts of it, the games, the traveling, the being on the sidelines, but that's one day out of the week. The other 6, you're working. And even on that game day, you're working. So I think you have to really, truly, like they said, get some experience and know that this is for you, and see if this is a setting. Because I mean, you can do professionals, you can do collegiate. Some people love the high school and some people love the clinic. So you really have to find what fits for you, and what truly, like Victoria said earlier, where you can be you and where you can thrive. So I think experience is the best way, and one of the best teachers for people that want to get into this profession. Because I think it's misleading sometimes when people think, oh, this is what you do. Like, this is what I do one day out of the week. The other 6 is long days. So I think, like they said, the experience is the best thing, because when you get into it, it's nonstop. It's not an easy road. From day one, you're 100 miles an hour. So I think the experience is the only way that you're going to figure out whether you like it, love it, or you hate it. So I agree with both of them.
For sure. I love talking about the highs and lows, in a career, because we all go through them. Like, no matter what, it's just inevitable. Like, you're going to go through something. So, right quick, if y'all can name a high moment or a low moment y'all have been in. Y'all, Victoria, want to start, or?
Sure, I'll start. I would definitely say the most recent, and the one that pops out to my mind as a high moment, is definitely winning the Cotton Bowl. I mean,
For sure.
going to a bowl game, you've grinded all year. Obviously having a successful season. But to finally see it, and obviously them performing at quote unquote the highest level / the highest game that they're going to play for that year, and obviously to be on top or win on top, or come out on top, excuse me. definitely was a highlight for me, because now I get to see like my first round of, this was my first, like I call it my first big girl job. So
Yeah.
I got to see now my first year of, seniors or fifth years who now that was their last collegiate football game ever. Like, and it might be their last football game, period. They may not get that, chance to go professional. So
Yeah.
you're getting to hug, and they're thanking you for everything you've done. You're just embracing the moment of, I'm glad we could just keep you healthy and, keep you doing what you love to do. That's the most rewarding thing, I think, for all athletic trainers, is you get to see them enjoying doing what they love to do, which is obviously being on the field, or on the court or whatever it may be. So I would definitely say my highest moment was winning the Cotton Bowl. Um, for a low moment, I would definitely say probably like when you see one of your players or one of your patients going down or go down.
Yeah.
Because you're just hoping, especially for football, you're just sort of hoping on the sideline. You're like, okay, get up, get up, get up. Like we just have like that internal just like dialogue with ourselves of like, okay, get up, like you're okay, you're good. But then when they don't get up, and then obviously we run our special tests, we run, MRIs, x-rays, whatever we have available. And then you got to break the news of, hey, actually your season's over and it's only game 3. So those are the heart-wrenching moments and sort of low moments. But once again, you get to see them one day return. However, we did have one player this year who unfortunately, like, he will never play football again. So it's sort of a heartbreaking moment that you have to go through with that person. However, like, he learned to trust me. We, worked on rehab. We did X, Y, and Z. So to make sure he can still be functional in life outside of football. But also, you're having that life moment with them of, hey, there's more to life than football. We just have to find that for you.
Cool. Yeah.
So that would probably be my high and low.
Sure, man. That's amazing. Lex, Rachel, anyone?
Uh,
Oh, go Rachel.
I'll start off with the low. A low that I can say is when you see yourself in a position or a job that you just don't get. So
That's real.
which it happens. So it's like going through that mourning, grieving process of, oh, you thought, like, I thought I was good enough for this position, but I didn't get it. But knowing that, don't give up. It just wasn't your moment at this moment. Keep doing what you got to do and just keep getting better and apply later on. And then seeing if at that moment it's a better, you can actually get it. So I would say that's the low moments when it comes to athletic training, when you don't get what you actually want, the position that you want. The high moments is, of course, seeing an athlete that you've done rehab with for months get back on the field, and the joy and the happiness that they have in their heart, in their face, knowing that they can play the game, like Victoria said, that they love. So that's what we're really here for, allowing these athletes to do what they love because we're doing what we love by helping them. So those are the low moments and the high moments for me when it comes to athletic training.
Dang, y'all took my answers. I think Rachel, I think both of them are right. I really can't really choose between either one, just because like you said that you work really hard to try to get where you want to be, right? So if you don't get that job, that's kind of like a low blow, right? When you've done everything you feel like you can to make yourself marketable, to be the best you can be, I think that's low. And I think, like Victoria said, seeing somebody not get up, and whether that's something that can be rehabbed or surgical fix, or even our time at Memphis, seeing somebody that will never play the game again, like that, those are two things that I feel like, for me, I kind of can't weigh, because I'm here for the athletes. So knowing that this person I can't do anything about the situation, I feel like that's low for me. Like, man, I wish there was something I could do, like, to make sure that this person can do what they love, right? Everybody wants to do what they love. And then I feel like also your jobs, like, you can't you're doing this to always get somewhere. Like you don't stay stagnant. Like, okay, what's next? I've done what I can do here. What's next for me? So I feel like that's kind of for me, I feel like those two are, I don't know. I think they kind of go hand in hand. I think for me, the highs are who you meet, like the relationships you build, whether it's players, whether it's other staff. Like Rachel mentioned earlier, being in Memphis, I met these two, and my time in Memphis would not have been the same if I didn't have them. So I think for me, the highs is you might go through this 12-hour day, but when you go through it with somebody that you can share these moments with and it makes it bearable, I feel like those are the highs for me. Like you can have a terrible day, but let Victoria tell it. We used to kiki in that office, and those are the high moments. Like every day, it's gonna be something else. So the high moments for me is building relationships that are gonna last. Like we're all on this call, we still talk, we share news with each other. So for me, I think it's the relationships that you truly build that are gonna be there for the rest of your life. Like whether it's players having families and getting married, things like that. And when they remember you and they share those moments with you, I feel like that's special. But also the relationships you build with your coworkers, like those are special. Like I can't wait to go and visit one of them, Victoria when she was at the Cotton Bowl, or Rachel with the UFL right now. Like I'm cheering them on. Like I feel like those are relationships, those are high. Seeing us start somewhere and finish somewhere else, it's like, girl, you go, you keep going, I'm gonna be here cheering you on. So I feel like those are highs for me. Like that's what matters to me. Like you can win or lose all day long, but those bonds and those relationships you build, I feel like make everything else worth it. So I feel like that would be the highs and lows for me.
For sure, and that's truly amazing. We're about to wrap this up. We got about 6 minutes left. But I'm a person to end this call. I'm a person love talking about goals because I feel like if you don't have a goal, where do you go? So right quick. Can everybody just list off one goal that they have for this year?
I'll start. My goal is, well, I'm currently getting my second master's in sports psychology. So my goal is to become a sports psychologist for athletes where they have someone where they feel like they can communicate with, open up to, because unfortunately, the fans, they don't think about that stuff with athletes. Athletes are humans. So at the end of the day, you got to also understand that they're going through a lot in their own head, in their own family, in their own life. So being that person that they can communicate with is one of my goals. So I'm trying to finish off my degree with that so I can also do that with athletic training.
For sure. That's
Oh,
amazing.
girl.
Right. I'm like, go ahead, Lex.
Oh, Jesus. For me, I feel like this one of my goals this year is just truly finding my purpose and my identity in this career. I mean, on this career path. I feel like it's more than just being an athletic trainer. Whether it's being someone other Black and brown females can look up to, whether it's making a difference in an organization. I just want to find my purpose and my identity and be able to use this platform to really uplift others. And honestly, like I know I keep mentioning God, but I feel like I really want to use this platform to glorify God in whatever way that is, whether that's my athletes, whether that's the organization, whether that's living my life and letting it be a testament to other people. Like I said, that God makes no mistakes. I truly feel like if you don't believe in that higher power, I mean that's between you and your life. But I want to use this platform to make sure that people know, like you can, like Victoria said earlier, you can be you. Like, and I'm going to use this platform to do whatever God has for me. So I truly want to find my purpose and my identity and be able to use whatever platform I'm on to make sure that others can see that and know that it's okay. It's okay. So that's my goal for this year. Find my purpose and my identity.
Nah,
And
for
you
real.
will, Lex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So somewhat tying personal and professional goals together. I said that this year I was going to read a book every month. But what I'm purposely doing is reading books on like leadership, communication styles, how to build, better habits, how to, do work-life balance, finance, or financial stuff. Because your girl need to learn how to save some coins. But so so for me, like I'm being more purposeful slash like I said, my goal this year is really just to develop skills that I'm not quote unquote a professional, I guess you could say, or like an expertise in. So once again, I want to get better with leadership. I want to be better at, taking charge of certain situations or, hey, sort of like what Rachel said, like, this is how, the athlete is reacting. Like, this is how I need to communicate to this athlete versus I would communicate a different way to this athlete. So I want to learn, and, same thing with like who you're working with. So one of the biggest goals, I guess, this year is sort of tying in my personal goal of reading a book every month with learning to be obviously more of like a leader and developing as an athletic trainer as well.
For sure. Hey, them are some amazing goals, and all y'all will accomplish it. Hey, once again, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I'm Johnny Hill, and we are out of here.